Okay, good day. Let's start. Please tell me if you are hearing my voice. Hello? Please say anything if you hear my voice. Hear my voice? Okay, so we will have a discussion today regarding the concepts, fundamentals, and basic principles. And we will focus on the terminologies, the definition of terms, so that we'll be able to clearly understand. When I was a student like you, I also faced with the same problem that I cannot really understand the first few meetings. Because of what? Because of the terminologies. The terminologies are not yet on my system. So therefore, after some time, after a few meetings, I am able to understand little bit and a little bit, and continue to read and ask my professor, ask question, and listen to the discussion. So in the same manner, I would like to have this opportunity for us to be able to understand this subject faster. Okay? We need to understand it in double time because we have a semester due to pandemic that is uh, about 3 months. So we'll what? We'll have the same number of hours. So we need to complete the 54 hours for a 3 unit subject like financial accounting, and for that we have to make some makeup classes, okay, in order to be able to complete the task. Okay, so it's clear, and let us use the textbook. So financial accounting, actually it's better to use the 10th edition because it is the requirement. However, the 9th edition is the latest that is that is free. So most of the students wanted to have a free copy. So PDF free copy. So let us start here. So I would like to load this up. Okay. Okay, so there are several terminologies, and we will use the same textbook over and over again, so that we will not be confused by changing the explanation, because different authors of different textbooks are equally good. However, you will get confused if the author number one would explain in some way, and author number two would explain in other ways, even though their explanation would result to be the same. However, the methods, the methodology would confuse us. So I would like to use this single author. So we're using Weigand, Kimmel, and Queso. And other authors will just choose as preference. So this is our textbook, and the others are just reference. So the more the references, and this is what you have to do. Master the Weigand, Kimmel, and Queso. Read it just like how learn I learned the subjects. Continuous reading over and over repeatedly. For example, if I want to learn financial accounting, I would have to read the textbook about 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. And if I still need to understand it more clearer or clearer, I still have to read it the sixth time or the seventh time. So that's how I do it. Okay. So I repeatedly, because more on I am not depending myself on just the lecture. The lecture is good, but the lectures are just a guide. So I need to understand it the same way as my professor. So what I am doing is try to read it over and over repeatedly 4 times and above, 4 to 7 times actually. The less number of repetition that I made was the easiest subject. The easiest subject 2 times. The hardest subject 7 times. And financial accounting about 4 to 5 times. So it is not too hard, it's not too easy. So about in the middle. So this subject is about uh, average subject. Okay? So good afternoon to everyone. So we are about 63 attendees today. So let us go on the some of the common terms that we'll be using. Okay. Account classification and presentation. So because accounting is what? Accounting is the uh, the recording, di ba? The recording and communicating, okay, of transactions. So we need to present these reports to other person. So what are those? So we need to know about account titles. We should be able to classify them, and what sort of reports are we going to encounter like this? Financial statement is one such report. Okay? Okay, so it's not yet clear to us right now. However, we will not delve with this at once. We'll pick out uh, some terminologies that would immediately help us then go to the other definitions deeper and deeper later on. So, for example, uh, account, no? Account is a good way to start. What is an account? Okay, what is an account? So it is the name of a transaction, no? From the point of view of accounting, that is an account. For example, you have an account in YouTube. Okay? So that is the name of your account in YouTube. It doesn't mean that your account in YouTube is the same as your name. It may be you can open an account in YouTube that is the same with your name, but you can also open an account that is not your name. For example, your alias, your nickname, or your company name, or your favorite word combination. You can do it. So that is an account. In accounting, we will put a name on the transaction. So let us backtrack. What is a transaction? Transaction is an exchange or is a transfer of something of value. What is something of value? For example, mouse. For example, cell phone. For cell phone and mouse are not money, but they are valuable. They are valuable. Okay? Because you cannot get a cell phone or you cannot get a mouse for free. Okay? You may get it for free if you win from, for example, winning a raffle draw. You can get it for free, raffle draw or from donation. But naturally, it is uh, by transaction. You have to what? Get the cell phone by paying the amount of its worth, the amount of its value. So, for example, your cell phone is 6,000 pesos. So you need to pay 6,000 pesos and get your cell phone. So your cell phone is a brand new one and it transfer ownership. So transaction is the transfer of ownership of something of value. Okay? So previously, who owns the cell phone? The businessman owns the cell phone. The store owns the cell phone. And you have your money. Okay? And then you agree to transaction. So what do you mean? Sale. The transaction means that you have to pay 6,000 pesos and then the businessman or the store will give you the product or the goods, which is the cell phone. So what happens? There is an exchange. There is a transfer of ownership. Who owns the 6,000 pesos now? The money, the cash that you owned a while ago is now owned by the store because you paid. Okay? So transfer of ownership. The ownership of money transferred from you to the store. At the same time, the ownership of the cell phone transferred from the store to you. So that is what we call transaction. So the name of the transaction is what we call accounts. Okay, accounts. How do we call certain transaction that is uh, account? So there are several names that we are going to pursue. So like this in your monitor. So there are several account titles or account names. Okay, one very common name of account is cash. Like what we had in our example. So you pay 6,000 in cash. However, you can also pay in what credit card or in other means. For example, uh, coupon. You can pay in coupon or some other means. But usually very common na yan. This is very common to use cash. So the account title or the account name is cash because you what? You made a cash transaction. That is why we have to be very specific. What type of transaction that transpired in buying the cell phone? O cash title, cash account title. No? We need cash account title and uh, let us go further. Another one is cost of goods sold. Okay, cost of goods sold. So this is the value. This is the amount of goods that are sold. For example, mouse. You are selling a mouse. You are selling a cell phone. So from the point of view of the store, from the point of view of the uh, businessman, they are selling what? They are offering to sell cell phone. Oh. What is the cost of making the cell phone? All of the expenditures that would be incurred in making the cell phone. How much? That is the cost of goods sold. Okay? Cost of goods. Okay? Okay? And therefore, the businessman will what? Will, for example, the cost is 5,000. The businessman will sell it at 6,000 so that there is some profit. Okay. Do not ever expect that a businessman is uh, producing a cell phone or getting the cell phone stock at 5,000 and afterwards they will sell it at the same price. So that is not a good business. Okay, so that is another term. Let's go further down. Let's go further down. Equipment. So, equipment. Let us uh, go to this equipment. So there are several types of equipments. Like in engineering, we are encountering almost in every type of equipment. Okay, so equipments uh, could be computer, could be machine, could be motor, could be a machine with generator, for example. So there are several equipments. Okay, so there are. So can you give any example of an equipment? Okay, so please use the comment box to give an example of equipment that you encountered. So we are familiar with this equipment. Okay, let's go further. Any question? If you have question, you have to use the remarks comment box. Okay. Okay. Including plant assets, equipment, some are equipments, plant assets. Okay. What do we mean by account name, account title, gain on disposal of plant assets? For example, you have a old cell phone and you want to buy a new cell phone. So what will you do to the old cell phone? You may what? You may sell it as a second hand to other people at very least price. For example, 5 years ago, you bought the cell phone at 3,000. So today, you may offer it a second hand to be 500 pesos or 1,000 pesos. So that is the amount you gain on disposing the cell phone. For example, you have a computer and you already used the desktop computer for 10 years. Scrap value. Still, you can sell the computer even if it's not working anymore. You can still sell its parts like sa mga ano, for example, sa mga mangangalakal, no? Sa mga mangangalakal, sa bumibili ng bakal, no? Sa ano, sa mga makikita natin nagbibenta ng bakal, di ba? Scrap, scrap shop. You can still sell it per kilo. Per kilo at ano. So, instead of getting so much from it, since it is already used for 10 years, you can sell it at very least price, scrap price. But still, you gain. Still you gain. So that is what we call gain on disposal of plant assets. Okay. And gain, that is the gain of disposal. But plant assets, meaning it is kind of equipment that is uh, it is conceptually bigger equipment like lathe machine, like welding machine. It is heavier equipment. Unlike cell phone, it is a device because it is what portable. So that is not a plant asset. Cell phone is not a plant asset. Plant assets are those equipment that you use and set up in a flooring because it is big, or set up in a wall, set up in a, so it is a huge compared to other type of equipment or device. Okay. So next, income. So income summary. So income, we know that the income is the amount that we gain from a series of transactions. Usually income is computed per year, but you can compute your income per month or per quarter. Some companies do that, but usually per year. And for an individual like yourself, you are computing your income per transaction. And the total income per year, you have to what? Summarize it in one whole year, your individual income per transaction, and then the total, you can get the summary and have an idea how much you gain in the year. Okay. So next, so income tax expense. So we have income summary. Next is income tax expense. So if you gain an income, it is a must that you have to pay a tax. All of the income, you have to pay a tax. If you are not paying taxes for your income, then your business is illegitimate or illegal. Your business is, your transactions are illegal. Okay? So remember that. Remember that every income should have a tax attributed to it. So if not, you are what? You are running away from the government. So you are sort of tax evader. You are a tax evader. Huh? You are not paying taxes for an income. Any income, any income. So today is the day that you know that all of your income you should pay taxes to the government. Okay? That is part and parcel of you being the citizen of this nation. If you are not paying taxes, then you are your business is illegitimate, your transaction is illegal, and if somebody caught you in the act, and you will certainly be punished, and some of the companies are going to jail. No? Okay, so you can ask question now. Maybe this is the first time you hear this fact. It is a fact that any income you should pay to the government. However, there is a minimum income that the government said according to the law. If you do not breach the threshold of that income, then you are exempted. So we can have a tax exemption. For example, I think for salary, okay? If your income is a true salary, if your salary is, I think, if I am not mistaken, I think if your salary is uh, 20,000 or less, 20,000 or less than 20,000, then you are exempted to pay. However, even though you are exempted to pay, you still have to file an income tax return. What is an income tax return? Income tax return is the document that you submit to the BIR. Uh, it is a formal document that you submit to the BIR. What is BIR? Bureau of Internal Revenue. That is the agency, the government agency that collect taxes. You still have to submit that income tax return. So for what? For salary, the income tax return is, I think, 20,000 and below, you are exempted. However, business income tax of 20,000, I do not know. I don't know if what is the threshold for business. You can easily check that from the BIR. Okay, let us give an assignment. 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 Research. You have to research how much is the threshold for salary income tax? Today, currently, this year, salary income tax and business income tax. What is the threshold for exemption? Okay, threshold for exemption. So that is your assignment. Huh? How much? 30,000, 25,000. So please research. You may go to the BIR website. Okay. So because businesses like if you are a contractor, engineering contractor, okay, how much is the business income? Okay, tax. Okay. So let us know that. What is the current rate threshold for exemption? What is the current exemption for business and for salary? Okay. So income taxes payable. This account is different from income tax expense in the sense that income tax expense, the tax was already been paid. The tax has already been paid. In income taxes payable, the tax has not yet been paid. So, for example, next month we will pay the income tax. So the term, the name is income tax payable. If we already paid the income tax, then it is an income tax expense. Okay? So that is the difference between income tax expense and income tax payable. Okay? So insurance. What is an insurance? Insurance is the insurance is a transaction wherein there is a what? There is a promise to pay whenever, for example, your insurance is death insurance. There are several types of insurance. Your insurance is death insurance. There is a promise to pay you an amount of money if you die, because that is a death insurance. For example, health insurance, there is a promise to pay an amount of money if somebody got sick or somebody got injured or somebody become what, disabled. So health insurance. And for example, equipment insurance. So for example, third-party insurance of car, that is very similar to equipment insurance. So car insurance. So that is a promise to pay an amount of money whenever there is a car accident involving the car being insured for the car insurance. Okay. So insurance is the promise, okay, of paying something. However, that promise have to be paid. So if you want the company to promise you to pay something, you have to pay the premium. No? So that is the premium is the amount to pay. For example, you will get motorcycle insurance. Okay, motorcycle insurance. You pay the company, the insurance company, some small amount of money so that you get insured. Your motorcycle is get insured with a promise of paying you very big amount compared to what you paid. For example, you paid 1,500 motorcycle insurance. If that motorcycle got an accident, the company may pay you, for example, 300,000 or 250,000. So if you compare what you paid to the promise of paying you back whenever you get into an accident. So it is remarkably higher. Okay? So that is what we call an insurance. So what do we mean insurance expense here? So insurance expense here means this is the amount of money you pay. This is the 1,500 in our example. Okay? To get a motorcycle insurance, for example, you buy the insurance for 1,500, and that company have a promise to you that whenever you get an accident, uh, they will what pay you a promised amount. Okay, so that is insurance expense. What about interest expense? So what is an interest? So interest is very familiar to you because, for example, you have a money and you put your money in the bank. Your money in the bank will get an interest. For example, per year or per month interest. Okay? Meaning your money will earn additional amount. The interest today is about point very small interest today. Point 1. Okay. Okay. Another assignment. So assignment number 3. So there are 2 assignment. 1, salary income threshold for exemption of taxes. Number 2 is business income threshold for exemption to taxes. Number 3 is deposit, bank deposit, bank deposit interest rate. Interest rate. How many percent is the interest rate for bank deposit? That is the third question. That is the assignment. Okay. Okay. So, meaning interest will gain, will transfer money from one to another. For example, if you are the depositor, so the money will transfer from the bank to you because you will gain interest. Okay. So there are 4 different types of interest here. The name of the account name is interest expense. What do we mean by interest expense? So it is an interest expense if you are the bank. Okay? From the point of view of the bank, if you are the bank, you will pay the interest to the depositor. So you will what? You will not gain anything, and instead you will pay out the depositor. So that is an expense. Expense. No? So what is the Tagalog word for expense? What is the Tagalog word for expense? Gastos. Ang expense is gastos. No? Anong Tagalog word for payable? Bayarin. Anong Tagalog word for receivable? Yan yung for collection mo. Yan yung mga ang payable is bayarin mo. Ang receivable is bayarin sa'yo. So, ito yung payable is bayarin mo, ibig sabihin, ikaw yung may utang. Ang receivable, ikaw yung inutangan, kaya meron kang bayarin papunta sa'yo. Sila yung magbabayad sa'yo kasi ikaw ang inutangan. So, Yan ang pagkakaiba ng payable. Take note, payable and receivable. So payable because you have to pay somebody, and receivable because somebody have to pay you. Okay? So what do we mean therefore by interest payable? So the interest payable meaning it is not yet paid. So just like a while ago, income tax expense, income tax payable, expense, you already paid. Payable, not yet. Interest expense, you already paid the interest. Interest payable, you have yet to pay. So payable. So ibig sabihin, may utang ka pa, hindi mo pa nabayaran. Okay? Okay? So interest receivable, so not yet been paid to you. Okay? Hindi mo pa nare-receive yung payment, no? Interest revenue. Okay? So interest revenue meaning additional income from interest. That is interest revenue. Because why? There is a sort of difference between interest receivable and interest revenue because your interest receivable may be taxable. So they will still what? Put a tax on your interest receivable and therefore lesser. For example, your interest receivable is 150 pesos and the tax is 20 pesos. So you will receive a revenue of what? 130 pesos. Okay? Okay? Any question? The next word, the next terminology is inventory. What is an inventory? Inventory is everything of value that is on your stock room. Okay? Okay, that is an inventory. That is a product you made, goods, that is goods that you made, but have yet to what? To be sold, no? Have yet to be sold. So, for example, you have 100 pieces of cell phone, and this month, only 20 pieces of cell phone was sold. Therefore, you still have an inventory of 80 pieces of cell phone. So, okay. So, gastos daw. Yung expenses is gastos. Okay? So, that is correct. So, gastos nga yan. May nagtanong. Okay, may nagtanong. Mark Kapulong. Sir, di po ba yung interest rate niya po? Depende po sa bangko? Po. Okay. So, you'll notice, guys, I am doing the lecture and explanation in English, but you can still ask question in Japanese, in English, or in Tagalog. Okay? Or in Bicol. You can ask question, you can make a comment in any of those languages. English, Japanese, Filipino, Bicol, you can do it. However, I'm making the live session in English because somebody, not a student of mine, not within the country, may have been one of us attending the session. So I have to do it in English. Maybe there are some foreigners that one or two of them listening to us. So let us do it in English as much as possible. So, but still you can ask question in Tagalog. So, I will go back to your question. Sir, di po ba interest rate po, depende po sa bangko. Yes, that is correct. Depende po sa bangko. Interest rate is depende sa bangko. So, our assignment number 3 is, halimbawa, magre-research ka, sabihin mo kung anong pangalan ng bangko. You have to name the bank. For example, BDO. Wow, how much is the interest rate? Or for example, Land Bank. How much is the interest rate? Sabihin mo lang pangalan ng bangko, then what is the interest rate? So that is all I am asking you for the third assignment. That is the third assignment. What is the bank deposit interest rate? That is correct. However, don't get me wrong, that is dependent upon the bank. However, Central Bank of the Philippines has arranged that is allowed. For example, every week or every day or every month, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or the Central Bank of the Philippines is publishing and giving all the banks in the Philippines a notice that, hey guys, our interest rate range from 0.05 to 0.09%. That's how it is done. So the different banks will choose their own interest rate from the given range, 0.05 to 0.09. So for example, I am Land Bank, I will pick 0.08. And for example, another one is BDO, they will pick 0.05. That is still okay because that is allowed by the Central Bank of the Philippines. That's one of the function of Central Bank of the Philippines. That is one of the function to monitor the bank transaction. Okay? So, the different banks have no right to have their own interest rate outside the interest rate allowed by the Central Bank. They are being monitored by the Central Bank of the Philippines. So, there are banks that have very low interest rate, but you can confirm it to the Central Bank if what they are doing is okay. So maybe they are always picking the lowest interest rate that is allowed by the Central Bank. Some of the bank will pick the middle, some of the bank will pick the highest interest rate. Okay. So it depends. That is the question and answer. Okay. So thank you, Mark Anthony Capulong. So expense, so gastos daw, sabi ni, according to Idan Budonal. So expense is a gastos. So receivable, matatanggap. So that is okay. Receivable, you are expected to receive. That is the amount you're expected to receive. So matatanggap. Yan yung matatanggap mo. Okay? So inventory. So next, let's go further. Prepaid insurance. So prepaid insurance. So you already paid an insurance, for example, for year 2022. Today, it is only year 2021. But you already buy an insurance for next year. So that is prepaid insurance. Or another thing is, for example, for year 2021, you already paid last January. the uh, the amount for the insurance. So that is prepaid. No? So you already fully paid the insurance. You may have some confusion because you may be encountering only the motorcycle insurance, by which it is always paid in full. But there are types of insurance that you have to pay what per month. Those insurance for big transaction. For example, insurance for a building, and your building is about 100 story, or even 6-story building, or 20-story building. Insurance for that is so big that the payment may be monthly, quarterly, or yearly. In your motorcycle insurance, that is a yearly insurance, or what? Uh, every 3 years insurance, or depending upon the company. However, in the motorcycle insurance, you have to pay already the full price. So prepaid na siya, no? Prepaid na siya. It is only July, but you are already insured up to December. For example, if you buy an insurance for 2021 last January, and you pay the whole price, the full price last January for the complete year of 2021, you already what? Consume January to June. But this is just July. July to December, you have yet to consume the insurance, but you're still insured. You are already insured, just like prepaid card, prepaid telephone card. You already buy the card, even if you have yet to what? You have yet to use the card, the telephone card. Oh, there's a balance. There's still a balance. In for example, you buy yesterday a 300 pesos telephone card, and you use 55 pesos. So you still have a balance, and that is what? For example, 300 prepaid card minus 55. That is 245. You still have 245 prepaid insurance. That is the prepaid. That is a prepaid phone card. You don't have the 300 prepaid phone card today. You have the 300 prepaid card yesterday. But you consume 55 pesos. That's why today your prepaid phone card is only 245. That is same as your insurance. Your insurance, for example, last January, you paid 1,500. And that is January to June. So you already consumed what? 750. Because January to June is 6 months. And you still have what? Another 6 months. That is July to December. So today, your prepaid insurance today is 750, not 1,500. Do you, it is clear? Is it clear to you now the difference of prepaid insurance and insurance expense? Your insurance expense now is 750 because you already consume. You already expend that 750. That is what? From January to June. But still, you have a balance of 750 from July to December. That is prepaid. The name of the account is prepaid. Okay? Are we clear? Are we clear? The differences of terminology. Are we clear? You have to ask question if it's not clear. Rent expense. Okay, this is a very common. and easy to understand. So this is the payment you do for renting something. It could be place. You will rent the place. You will rent the equipment. You will rent the device. You will rent the services of somebody. So rent, prepaid rent. But this type of prepaid rent is specifically for place or equipment or devices, or for example measuring measuring equipment, like for example high range thermometer. For example, that is not a thermometer for body temperature, but thermometer for very hot or very hot liquid, for example. So you will rent, okay, the measuring instrument, right? So instrument, equipment, or place, building, space, you can rent that. So rent expense. So let us backtrack one line, prepaid rent. So if you have a prepaid rent, this is equivalent to advance rent. So you can recall that 1 month advance, 1 month deposit. That 1 month advance, 1 month deposit is not an actual name in the book of accounts, in the accounting books. So what you will do is, that is prepaid rent. 1 month advance, 1 month deposit, that is what we call prepaid rent. Okay? So what are we doing therefore now is make a formal name for each and every transaction. Okay? Is that clear now? It has become clearer and clearer that we are not using the layman's term. For example, the layman's term is 1 month deposit, 1 month advance. This is what we call prepaid rent. So how many months is your prepaid rent? 2 months, because 1 month deposit and 1 month advance. Okay? Are we clear? Is our discussion clearer and clearer? So this is technical term for recording into accounting books. Okay? So please take note of these terminologies. Okay. So we have salaries and wage expense. So if you are a company, if you are the owner of the business, you will what? Pay the salary of your employees. That is what we call salaries and wages expense. Okay? So wages is almost a salary that is computed, for example, in terms of output rather than in terms of time. So salaries and wages expense. So you already paid. You have yet to pay. That's why it is called payable. Salaries and wages payable. So your employees are supposed to receive their salaries yesterday. You have not yet been paying your employees. So salaries and wages payable. So in Tagalog, meron ka pang pagkakautang sa mga empleyado mo. Meron ka pang babayaran na mga pasweldo, payable. But if you already able to distribute the payments for their salaries and wages, that is what we call salaries and wages expense. Take note. These are the terminologies that we need to use and understand. Okay? Sales discount, that is same, meaning with the discount that you are encountering in the malls, in the supermarkets. For example, 5% discount, 20% discount, 50% discount. So that is the same. discount, sales discount. That is sales discount. You will give a discount for something. No? Okay, so wala pang mga question. Are there any question? So let us jump to selling expenses. Selling expenses. So these are the expenditures that you incurred. When we say incurred, ibig sabihin na expenses incurred. Incurred. Meaning, in Tagalog, yan yung mga nagastos mo para lang makabinta ka. Selling expenses. No? Okay, selling expenses, for example, you are going to pay a sales commission to the salesman. That is selling expense. Okay? So those are type of operating expense that you have to pay, that you already paid. Expenses. Okay? So supplies. So let us go to the next one. Supplies. There, supplies. Supplies meaning, for example, school supplies or office supplies. Those things that are needed for your company or for your business to operate. For example, school supplies. You need to operate a school. You need school supplies like bond papers, pens, eraser. Those are supplies. Okay? Supplies expense. This is the amount of money you already paid in order to or, for example, supplies is not yet used, is not yet consumed. It's not yet consumed. Supplies expense already consumed. For example, chalk. Chalk. 1 box of chalk. So after 1 month, 30% of chalk was already used. So, how much chalk as your supplies? 70% supplies of chalk is still there. How much supplies expense had you incurred for that month? 30% because you already used. That is how we record this transaction. We record the chalk transaction by using supply expense, supplies. Okay? You will notice there is no what? There is no details. What type of supplies? So this account name meaning all the supply, not only the chalk, also the eraser. If you have a supply of 10 erasers and after 1 month you already use 6 erasers, the remaining balance of supply is what? 4 erasers. And you already have a supply eraser supply expense of 6. So therefore, your chalk supplies have to be added. Your supplies expense have to be added. And all of the other supplies have to be added. You will get a total. So put the total on the amount. Also here, you will total all of the supplies expense for chalk, for other other supplies, bond paper, and then total. You put the sum of the amount. Okay? And what's next? Okay. Last, from this table, we will get back here, here later on, but for today, we have to discuss this last. Utilities expense. What do we mean by utilities? Utilities are water supply, your expenditure for NAWASA, okay? Water supply. Number two, electric. So your expenditure that you have to pay to Meralco, okay? And and then another one is internet or telephone, telecommunication. So a very common utility expense would be the total of the amount you paid to NAWASA, Meralco, and PLDT, or any other telecommunication company. So those are utilities. Those are the very common utilities: water, electric, and Wi-Fi or telephone. Okay? So, any question regarding this table, regarding this concept? Those are the important concepts, at least for today. So, let us move on. Let us move on. Let us move on. Let us move on. Let us move on to chapter 1. So, bear in mind those what we've discussed. We will use this repeatedly. So, let's go to chapter 1. Okay. Let us take a look with a picture story and try to extract. Please also read what we have in our monitor and ask question. What do you want to define and to explain? What word, what terminologies would you like me to explain? So please use the comment box. Okay. Accounting in action. So accounting is a three-step process. What are the three steps of accounting? We already discussed. In order to have an accounting, so we have accounting cycle. So accounting is what? Identifying, recording, and communicating economic transactions. So what do we mean by economic? What is economic? That is an activity that have something to do with finances or money being transferred from one ownership to another. And economy is the amount of the products, the capability of a certain group. So, what is what can you say about Philippine economy? That is the uh, the capability of the Philippines, the value, the word. Capability meaning Philippines is capable of creating so much, how many billions of products per month, products per year. And Philippines capability has a potential to trade, for example, how many billions of market goods, how many billions of raw materials, how many billions of investment. Okay, so so those are related to money, finances, investment. Okay, so economic transaction. There is a transfer of ownership. So we can record that. So after identifying, so identification is also important. That's why we are learning concept and definition. We want you to understand the difference between expense and payable. Okay? We want you to understand the difference between supplies and supplies expense. Okay? We would like you to understand the difference between account receivable and cash. Okay? So, account receivable and cash. Okay, another important term is account receivable. Okay. Account receivable. Account receivable is almost the same with cash. Okay? Almost the same with cash. The difference is that you have yet to receive it. For example, the bank said that you have 11,000 pesos, 11,000 pesos balance in your bank book. Okay? That is cash. Your money in the bank is considered as cash. Not only your money in your pocket, not only the money in your what cashier's what what's that, POL, cashier's POL ba tawag doon? Not only the money in your safe, the safe cabinet, not only the money in your safe cabinet, not only the money in your pocket, but also the money in your bank account, whether it is what, deposit or current account. That is considered as cash. Those are considered as cash. Take note, take note. Your money in the bank, your money in your ATM is considered as cash. That is a cash. Okay? That is a cash. What is the difference between your money in the bank and your money in the pocket? Your money in your pocket is in terms of currency. In terms of currency. Your money in the bank is in terms of what? Record. You have a bank book with record. Recorded in your bank book. Okay? Or recorded in bank's account payable to you. Okay? Because today, it is unlike before, couple of decades ago, almost all of the accounts from depositors have bank book. Today, most of the accounts do not have bank book. Okay, do not have bank book. Okay, and only the banks keep a record of the transactions. Okay, and you can just check your bank accounts by what? ATM balance. You make a balance, or physically go to the bank and what? Ask for balance statement. You can do it. You can ask for a copy of balance statement. Okay? Or most of us use the ATM and just check your balance. Okay? So that is not a currency yet, because it's not in your pocket yet. So after making a transaction from the ATM machine, the money will be given to you from the machine automatically, and then it is now in terms of currency. So currency is what? What is a currency? Currency is the type of note. It is a note, or it is a type of guarantee by the government. Currency is the type of guarantee from the government. What do you mean by that? For example, peso. For example, 100 peso, 20 pesos, 10 pesos. Okay? 5 pesos, 10 pesos, 20 pesos, 100 pesos. Those are money guaranteed by the government. That's why the president and the Central Bank of the Philippines have a signature. They guarantee that that paper is not just an ordinary paper. That is what? Peso. In terms of peso, they guarantee that that stuff have value. Okay? Okay? They guarantee. Okay. Okay, for example, I have here, I have here, ah, so our money in the Philippines is in the form of bills. When we say bills, that is paper. When we say coins, that is in terms of metal, no? Metal. Okay? So usually, those metals that are not magnetic, those types of metals that are not magnetic, they make this into, for example, one peso coin. So this 50 pesos bill. So this bill is in terms of paper. So coin and paper. So both of which has a guarantee. Okay? These are guaranteed. That's why, for example, they are guaranteed by the government, and the guarantee from the government is through Central Bank of the Philippines. That's why your coin has what? Central Bank of the Philippines logo here. Central Bank of the Philippines logo. And what to Philippines. So there is a word, Republika ng Pilipinas, meaning who guarantees this coin? Philippine government guarantees this coin, particularly the Central Bank of the Philippines. Is the agency of the government who guarantees that this coin, this metal, is not just an ordinary metal. What do you mean by ordinary metal? When we are still young, do you know that we use these coins to make a ring here? So we'll make a hole and process it. Then after metal processing, it will become a ring, putting it there. So it will become what? A raw material for a ring. And what is that? That is a metal as a raw material making a what? Ring. Okay? However, it is guaranteed by the government that this metal is not just an ordinary metal, but with value equivalent to 1 peso. This value is guaranteed to be 1 peso. And it is actually a crime to use this as a raw material for making a ring. Just like what we are doing when we were young. That is a crime. Okay, that is a crime. To use this metal in other purpose other than paying for something. No? This must be used as a currency. This must be used as a currency. Okay? For example, you are a factory of ring. Don't ever buy so much coins and use those coins to be the raw material for your product. That is a crime. Okay? For example, this one. This is not an ordinary paper because it is guaranteed by the Philippine government. This is the logo of Philippine government. This is the name, Philippine government. This is the logo of Central Bank of the Philippines. This is guaranteed with signature from the Philippines and from the Bangko Sentral of the Philippines. Okay. Philippine President, Central Bank. Signature. Philippine President, Philippine logo. Okay? So, this is not an ordinary paper that you will use. Huh? It is a crime to use this for other purposes. For example, you use this to make a toy airplane, paper airplane. That is a crime. Okay? Right? You cannot do it. What happened? And take note. When I am learning these things 30 years ago, I already know the banking law of the Philippines. 30 years ago. Okay? Maybe more. Maybe 34 years ago. Okay? Okay? What happened? Are you aware that we have a viral incident that somebody was paid his salary all by coins? For example, 20,000 coins, all in 1 peso and what 25 centavos. 25 centavos. Imagine if you are paid your salary of 20,000 using all coins and without a single piece of bills. So take note, we call this paper a bill, paper bill, and actually technical term is currency. This is Philippine currency. So other currency, for example, Canadian currency, Canadian dollar yon, no? So American currency, American dollar. Singaporean currency, Singaporean dollar. Japanese currency is yen. Okay? So yen, there are also paper bills and coins for the yen. There are also paper bills and coins for American dollar or US dollar. Okay? So, what happened to the viral incident? I already know about that 34 years ago, that you cannot that you cannot do it on your own. For example, you are a businessman, you pay 20,000 coins, pure coins, all in terms of coins, without bills, without paper currency, as a salary and wage of your employee. You can do it unilaterally. Your employee have to agree. If the employee agrees, and then there's no problem. But if the employee do not want the coins, the law says that there is a maximum. The maximum coins that you can offer to pay, there is a maximum amount. In our times, there is an amount different from today. So I will ask you the number 4 assignment. What is the maximum amount of coins that you can pay somebody according to the law of the Philippines? Okay? Okay? How much coins? What is the maximum? Okay? What is the maximum? Okay? There's a maximum. For example, imagine if you hit the jackpot on Lotto, for example, 5 million, and you are paid in 1 peso coin. Imagine the circumstance of being unable to carry it by yourself. You need trucks to be able to carry it back home. So imagine the inconvenience. So if the one who will receive the coins do not agree, he has the right to deny and insist on receiving paper bills rather than coins. And if he insists on receiving paper bills, still the company can give him coins, but not more than the maximum allowed by the law. Okay, by the law. So you can still probably go to the central bank page and ask and search for that amount. What is the amount today? Because when we are learning this 34 years ago, the amount is so little. I think 300 pesos or 200 pesos, something like that, no? 34 years ago. But today, maybe 1,000 or 1,500 coins, maybe is the maximum amount. So that is the number 4 assignment. Maximum amount of coins according to law, no? So that is a viral incident that happened, I think, last week, 1 week ago. So there is a maximum. The employee can insist that he uh, he have to be paid in terms of paper bills. Okay, and actually, what happened to the viral incident? And that is in Valenzuela City. So the company is in Valenzuela, and the Valenzuela local government immediately suspend their business permit. Okay, so because the company do not agree to the law. That is a law. If you do not agree to the law, then why are you receiving the privilege of having a business permit? You don't have the right to get the business permit when you are not following the law. Okay, so that's why there is a reason for the local government of Valenzuela City to suspend their business permit, and therefore, uh, during suspension of business permit, they have to close their business. Okay, just like that, no? So we have to follow the law. So that is, imagine this subject is not my favorite. Finance uh, principle is not my favorite. Management subjects are not favorite. But still, 34 years ago, as an ordinary student, I am not a very talented student. I am not a very intelligent student. I am just an ordinary student. But I decided to listen to my professor. And after 34 years, the first time it happens that I was able to use that learning in order to what? To explain to my family that that is true. There is a maximum. I already know that previously. Explaining to them that there is a basis that the company have to be suspended their business permit. There is a basis because it is according to law that I already learned 34 years ago. So I listen even if this subject is not my favorite subject. I listen to the professor. Okay? And later on, you will be able to use that learning. Okay? Okay. So, listen, and review and review, read and read, practice and practice, and more practice. So, there are no questions. So, let us continue. So, if you can read any word that you would like to ask for its definition or explanation, please use the comment box. Okay, so knowing the numbers. Okay, what happened here? Many students who take this course do not plan to be accountants. If you are in that group, you might be thinking, I'm not going to be an accountant. Why do you need to know accounting? Well, consider this quote from Harold Gien, the former chairman of IT&T. IT&T is a world-leading communications company. To be good at your business, you have to know the numbers. Called in business, accounting and financial statements are the means for communicating the numbers. If you don't know how to read financial statements, you can't really know your business. Okay? So the technical term here are financial statements. Financial statement is a technical term. So we have to define that later on, because not yet time for that to be defined. It is we need deeper knowledge and some other concept before we can do that. Financial statement. It is financial statement is a report that an accountant will do by first what by first identifying and recording those identified transactions. So in a particular way, they are set up. There is a format in doing a financial statement. So we will learn that format and make an actual financial statement. So before I forget, we will do actual practice in identifying and recording, and later on you will have a time to communicate it to me. Okay, communicating those report to me. Okay, later on. So that is what you have to expect in this no, in this course. Okay. Many businesses agree with this view. They see the value of their employees being able to read financial statements and understand how their actions affect the company's financial results. Company's financial results. What do you mean by company's financial results? We mean if our company has an income or has a loss. Is there an income or a loss in one accounting period? A very usual accounting period is 1 year. And also, the BIR, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, who collect taxes, also have an accounting period of 1 year. Okay? In the school, we call the accounting period as school year. What is school year? One school year is, for example, consists of 2 semesters and 1 summer. Okay, that is one school year. Okay? 2 semesters and 1 summer. Okay? So, in accounting, there is also a period consisting of what? 12 months. Okay? So, for example, consider the company Cliff Bar and Company. The original Cliff Bar Energy Bar was created in 1990 by Gary Erickson and his mother in her kitchen. Today, the company has almost 300 employees. Ano to? Family business that grows beyond expectation. 300 employees today. Cliff Bar is guided by what it calls its 5 aspirations: sustaining our business, our brands, our people, our community, and the planet. Its website documents its efforts and accomplishments in these five areas. Just a few examples include the company's use of organic products to protect soil, water, and biodiversity. A smart solar array, the largest in North America, which provides nearly all the electrical needs for its 115,000 square foot building. And so they already own this very big building. And the incentives Clip Bar provides to employees to reduce their personal environmental impact, such as $6,500 toward the purchase of an efficient car, or $1,000 per year for eco-friendly improvements toward their homes. They support their employees on their own needs of home and uh, car, car and home. They support their employees. Okay, what can you say about this? Sana all, di ba? Sana all ganitong company, ano? They are very supportive of their company. Okay? Of their employees. One of the company's proudest moments was the creation of an employee uh, stock ownership plan in 2010. So we'll also learn about stock. What do we mean by stock? This plan gives employees 20% ownership of the company. It resulted in Clipbar enacting an open book management program, including the commitment to educate all employees, owners about its finances. It's amazing. This company, little by little, gradually, are making their employee to become part owners of their own company. Okay? Armed with this basic financial knowledge, employees are more aware of financial impact of their actions, which leads to better decisions. Okay, so what happens to the employees? They love their company because they are part owners of the company. Many other companies have adopted this open book management approach. What do we mean by open book? Open book meaning accounting books. So we will learn what is an accounting book. If you open your accounting books to the employees, so it it is the same as if you are nude in front of your classmates, in front of your friends. Okay? The company is nude, meaning wala silang may tatago. Kita na lahat. Kita lahat. Wala na sila itatago. Kita lahat. So there's no secret. Open book management approach. Okay? So very good management approach by this company. Okay? Okay. So learning objectives. Explain what accounting is. What is an accounting? Identify users and uses of accounting. So let us do this. Understand why ethics is a fundamental business concept. Ethics is a fundamental business concept. So business transaction should be ethical. So this is a new concept. Nung mga panahon namin, wala nang ethics, basta kumita ng pera. Di ba? Maski mapakon, medyo illegal na, medyo may panglalamang na, okay lang, basta kumita ng pera. One to sawa yung income. For example, yung iyong cost of goods is 20 pesos, nakagawa ng cellphone cover. Okay? 20 pesos. Ibebenta magkano? 100. Sobrang-sobra yung income percent, no? Percent rate. Sobra-sobra. So, it is beforehand, ethics in a business is not a thing. But today, currently, ethics is one important concept. Fundamental. It is a fundamental business concept, ethics. That's why you are having private companies, even private companies having what? Donations, having community pantries, so having corporate social responsibilities on the community. Okay? That is not part of the business. However, they are making sure that they are following some sort of ethical and moral ways. No? So, explain. Number 4, generally accepted accounting principle. Take note. Generally accepted accounting principle is what we call GAAP. GAAP. We call this at GAAP. Okay? GAAP. Okay? So GAAP is generally accepted accounting principle. Okay, so that is number 4. Okay. Yeah. And may nag-comment, wasn't, ano? So generally accepted accounting principle. Number 5, explain the monetary unit assumption and the economic entity assumption. So monetary unit. So what is the monetary unit of America? Dollar. What is the monetary unit of Philippines? Peso. What is the monetary unit of Japan? Yen. What is the monetary unit of Saudi Arabia? Rial. Any others? What is the monetary unit of Australia? Australian dollar. What is the monetary unit of Thailand? Baht. Okay, so what is the monetary unit of Indonesia? Rupiah. So those are what we call monetary unit. Take note, monetary unit is the name of the currency being circulated in an in an area by its own what uh, by its own central bank. Okay, for example, Central Bank of the Philippines, that is the agency that circulates the monetary unit of the Philippines, which is what? Peso. If the peso bills are so old, they will collect it and then issue a uh, new version. Okay, so that is another function of central bank of any country. Okay, wash hand. What do you mean by wash hand? May nagsasabi wash hand. What do you mean by wash hand? Number 6, state the accounting equation and define its components. So we'll have an equation here. Analyze the effects of business transaction on the accounting equation. What are the transactions involved in order to be able to process this accounting equation? We will operate an equation. What are the transactions involved? And we must be able to analyze the effects on each and every transaction on this equation. What will happen to the equation when somebody being increased or decreased or added or uh, removed? Okay. Understand the 4 financial statements and how they are prepared. So the minimum and the common accounting records that have to be communicated to several interested parties are the 4 financial statements. So there are 4 types of financial statements that we're going to practice. We will do it. But today, we will just define, explain today. Huh? Define the terminologies, the concept, and okay. So let us go further. Okay. What is accounting? So accounting involves the 3 activities of what? Of identifying, recording, and communicating. Those economic transactions to interested parties. Who uses accounting data? So Those are the interested parties. Who are these interested parties? So we'll give you later on uh, and define and probably explain it. Ethics and financial reporting. So the building blocks of accounting. So number one, ethics. Number two, GAAP. Okay. Ethics, GAAP. Number three, measurement principles. What do we mean by measurement principle? We need to learn, understand this principle because these are the tools that we need to utilize in order for us to uh, measure the worth or value of each and every account or each and every transaction. We need a measuring tool. For example, in construction, what is the most used measuring tool? The most used measuring tool in a construction is this one, the measuring tape. The measuring tape is the most used tool in the construction. That is for engineering. However, however, in accounting, we have our own measuring tools. Okay? Assumption, number 4. So there are uh, important building blocks. There are 4 important building blocks. Okay? Assumptions is the number 4. Ethics, GAAP, measurement principle, and assumption. Basic accounting equation. What are the transactions? What are the names? The uh, major variables. What are the major variables in a accounting equation? There are 3 types: assets, liabilities, and capital or stockholders equity. Capital is equal to stockholders equity. That is another term for capital. Stockholders equity. Okay? What are assets? What are liabilities? What are stockholders equity? Stockholders equity, very easy to understand. That is a capital. That is an amount of money wherein business-minded people put up in order for the company to start its business operations. Okay? That is initial amount of money. So that is a capital. Okay? And after some time, uh, they can put up additional capital. Okay? Initial capital for the creation of the company. Afterwards, for example, per year, they will put up additional capital. Okay? It is possible. So additional amount of money that an interested businessman or investor or stockholder would like to put into the use of the company. Okay? So from investor, they transfer the money to the company. So there is a transfer of uh, money, no? Money. Money, not just in terms of cash, but uh, not only in cash, but in other forms. No? For example, a car can be thought of as a capital. A truck can be thought of as a capital. Okay? So not just cash. So the truck has a value. That value could be used to record the worth of the truck and put that value as a capital or stockholders equity. Okay. Now, what about assets and liabilities? Assets are the amount that adds to the value of the company. So liabilities are those amount or those values that negates, that lessens the amount, the worth of the company. Liabilities lessens the worth of the company. Assets adds value to the company. So assets, pagka-asset ka ng company, you add value to the company. But you as a person, asset to the company, that cannot be recorded. Magkano ka ba? So wala kang worth. Only those with a specific amount of value could be recorded, could be used in accounting, recording, and identification and communication. Okay? Ideas cannot be put into the accounting equation. Accounting equation needs value, needs specific quantity. Okay? So, pwedeng asset ka ng company pero wala ka namang value. Kung pwede mo ibenta sarili mo, magkano ka ba? 150? 150 ka ba? Pwede ka kung mayroon kang value. Pero, hindi naman yan usual sa tao na may value ang tao. Noong unang panahon, may value ang tao. Slave. Yung mga slave, may value ang tao. Okay? But nowadays, walang value ang tao. So, yung asset ka ng company, ibig sabihin, yun ay appreciation and praise, and cannot be recorded in an accounting books. Cannot be recorded in an accounting book. Okay? Cannot be put into basic accounting equation. So, liabilities, loans, yan. Okay? Payables, those are liabilities. It lessens the value of the company. So those who adds the value of the company, asset, with a specific amount, with a specific quantity. For example, sir, bakit yung truck inilagay, wala namang ano? Yes, yung truck pwede kasi may value yung truck. Magkano yung bili mo ng truck? Magkano yung benta mo ng truck? Merong amount yun. Hindi katulad ng tao, di ba? Liabilities. Those who lessens the value of the company with actual specific amount. Okay. So, using the accounting equation, we need transaction analysis and summary of those transactions. For example, what do we mean by summary of those transactions? We will have to summarize all the supplies because there are different types of supplies, and we have to be able to summarize the amount or the total amount of the supplies. Okay? That is what we call summary of transaction. And transaction analysis, we have to analyze, is our supplies for the month increased or retained to the same level or decreased? We can analyze. So, and this supplies has an amount, a specific amount in terms of monetary unit, in terms of pesos. If we are dealing with US, we will use the monetary unit of US, which is the dollar. Here in the Philippines, we use peso in our accounting equation. Okay? And then the next one, financial statement. What are involved inside financial statement? There are four. There are four reports that we need to do. We need to practice doing. Okay? Income statement, number one. Number two, retained earnings statement. Number three, balance sheet. And number four, statement of cash flow. So income statement is the document that gives us the idea how much income do we get in an accounting period. How much losses do we get, or did we get? No? Retained earnings, how much uh, each and everyone earned in that accounting period. Balance sheet. This is a statement wherein we have an amount total for assets, total for liabilities, and total for stockholders' equity. We have the summary total for each and every one of these recorded in balance sheet. Okay? And statement of cash flow for each and every major account titles like supplies. Okay? We have statement of cash flow. How much are we spending on buying supplies? How many whiteboard markers? How many chalk? How many erasers are we uh, spending this accounting period compared to last? We can do that. We can do that. Okay. Those are some of the important questions. So, what is accounting? So, accounting consists of identification, recording, and communicating the economic events or the transaction of an organization. Organization meaning business, okay, partnership, and so on. To interested users. So, who are these users? Okay. So, users. So, this is the accounting process. Accounting process, which is what? Periodic and cyclical. Cycle. This is a cycle. Identification, recording, communication, then analyze, then identify, record. Okay. So, accounting cycle, identification, recording. So, actually, we already have this in our first video lecture that you have to watch. Did you already watch our lesson 1 lecture? Okay. Accounting process includes bookkeeping. Bookkeeping usually involves only the recording of economic event. Nagre-record ka, that is already a bookkeeping. Okay? And paano mo may re-record? I-identify mo rin. So, yung mga transaction nire-record mo. In total, accounting involves the entire process of identifying, recording, and communicating economic events. So that is the difference between bookkeeping and accounting. So accounting is what? Broader than bookkeeping. Bookkeeping only involves the recording of economic events. Okay? So who are the interested persons? We already know about this. Interested persons inside the company, finance people inside the company, marketing people inside the company, human resource people, yung HR inside the company, and then the management people inside the company. Internal users, okay? Internal interested person, okay? So, we need what? We need financial accounting in order to communicate important information to internal users. How about managerial accounting? Managerial accounting is our next subject. If you pass this course, the next subject is managerial accounting. And managerial accounting is the type of accounting that provides report for internal use. I already explained this, but I explained. No? Managerial accounting is for internal person. Internal interested parties are what? Management people, HR people, marketing people. Okay? So those are the interested internal people. Meaning, internal meaning that is employee of the company. They are employees of the company. Okay? Uh, Finance people, marketing people, HR people, management people. So they are all employees of the company. That's why we call them internal users. Users of what? Users of this accounting information. What kind of accounting information? Managerial accounting information. How about our subject today? Financial accounting is a prerequisite of managerial accounting. Financial accounting is used for external users. Who are the external users? Those users that are outside the company. They are not employee of the company. Who are they? Creditor, banks, BIR, investor. Those are the external users. And we need financial accounting in order to be able to make a report for the benefit of those external users. Okay? So, so let us, investors, so external users, investors, we already have this on our first video lecture. Investors, creditors, or banks, right? So these are the external uses. And information needs of external uses vary considerably. I already explained. Taxing authorities such as BIR. In the United States, their BRR is what they call Internal Revenue Service or IRS. In the Philippines, we call that as BIR, Bureau of Internal Revenue. So Internal Revenue Service, that is IRS in the US. Okay? Also, regulatory agencies like Securities and Exchange Commission. So we also have Securities and Exchange Commissions in the Philippines. Okay, we also have that. So that is called SEC or SEC. Okay, Securities and Exchange Commission. So those are some of the government agencies that needs your report as a financial accounting, accounting people. Okay, so this is now we are now going to the next lesson, but we are just what we are just explain the terminologies. We will not. We will do the. We will post the video in the official channel for you to watch. But today, this is a live explanation of definition only. Building blocks of accounting. So we already know that there are what? 4 building blocks of accounting. Ethics. So ethics is the way, the manner, the character of the company. Pagka sinabi, ay walang manner yan, walang ugali yan. So ethics yun, no? Walang ugali yan, walang manner yan. Pangit ang ano yan, ugali. So that is a manner. That is a characteristic. Character of the company, the way, the manner they deal with their transactions. That is what we call ethics in financial reporting. We need to be what? Truthful in financial reporting. Okay? Do not rig. Okay? Ibig sabihin ng rig, may kadayaan kang ginagawa sa inyong financial reporting. You are not reporting your actual income. Why? Because you don't want to pay taxes. You just want to pay a small amount of tax. Okay? So that's why instead of reporting 5 million income, you are just reporting what? 10,000 income. And therefore, your tax is exempted. Tax exempted ka kasi napakaliit ng ano mo income. Okay? So, napakarami kasing mga company nagdadaya not only in taxes but in misinformation so that they gained what? They gained more investor, they gained more shareholders, they gaining more investor and shareholders, their stocks increases, no? Their stock increases. If their stock increases, stock prices increase, then the worth of the company increases. Okay? Pagka tumataas yung stock ng company, yung value ng company, tumataas din. So, if the company's stock prices are increasing, the worth of the whole company increases. So that's why they, what? Rig. Rig meaning, nagdadaya sila in reporting the financial statements. Okay? So, yan ay paalaala. That is a reminder for you not to do it. No? Our financial reporting must be ethical. Okay? Another technical term, Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Sarbanes-Oxley Act is a law in the United States. So that this is a law that prevents yung dayaan sa misreporting ng accounting statements. Okay? But in the Philippines, I don't know if they adopt this SOX or SOX. SOX or SOX. Okay? Sarbanes-Oxley Act. I don't know if they adopt it in the Philippines. Maybe I will ask my sister. I have a sister which is a certified public accountant, and a certified public accountant is the person licensed to do all the accounting works. Okay? CPA. CPA is a what? Certified public accountant. No? So later on, I will ask my sister if they are using SOX in the Philippines. Okay? Just remember that SOX is to be able to what? To criminalize those rigging of financial accounting statement. Okay? And accounting statements. No? So that they prevent companies from representing their accounting statements. So that is what we know by the SOX. Circus founder P.T. Barnum is alleged to have said, "Trust everyone but cut the deck." Do you know yung meron tayong deck of cards, yung sugal, di ba? Deck of cards sa sugal. Pagka may pustahan, di ba? Kinakat yun. Minsan 2 cut, 3 cut. Okay? Why? Para walang dayaan, di ba? Para walang dayan, kinakat yun. Sabi niya, Circus founder P.T. Barnum said, trust everyone but cut the deck. Maski na ang kalaban mo sa baraha, maski ang kalaban mo sa barahe, kaibigan mo, kapatid mo, kinakat mo pa rin yung baraha. Diba? Kinakat mo yon para walang dayaan. Okay? Para fair. So, trust everyone but cut the deck. So, cutting the deck does not mean that you do not trust the other person. Just do it because you have to do it. What SOX does is to provide measures that, like cutting the deck of playing cards, help ensure that fraud will not occur. So, yan lang ang purpose ng SOX para yung mga kadayaan na hindi mangyari. No? Okay? So, wala namang mga ano pa. Okay? Let's go on. Profit. Another terminology. Profit. Okay? Profit is a type of income that is positive to the company. Pagka yung income mo is loss, so there are two types. If you are recording income, profit and loss, yung pwede mong i-record doon sa income. Yung income kasi, that is what? Account title. Account name yon. Account name yung ano na yon, income, no? So, lagay mo doon, income. Tapos nakalagay doon, pula. Tapos nakalagay loss. So, there are two types of actually three. Kung profit, meron kang positive. Pagka break-even, zero. Pagka loss, negative. Okay? So, that is, let us go on. Ethics, we will deal with it later in our video. Just pick up the words that you need me to explain. So, wala naman, di ba? So, let's go on. What is GAAP? Generally accepted accounting principle is GAAP. And GAAP is actually a standard on how to report economic events. This is an accepted standard internationally on how to report economic events. Paano natin nire-report yung mga transactions? Yan yung standard. Okay. The primary accounting standard setting body in the United States is FASB, Financial Accounting Standards Board. Okay? The Securities and Exchange Commission is the agency of the government that oversees U.S. financial market and accounting standard setting bodies. Okay? So, meron din tayong mga ganyan sa Pilipinas. Iba nga lang yung mga pangalan. Pero itong SEC, pareho yung pangalan. Meron rin tayong ganito sa Pilipinas. The same name, we have Securities Exchange Commission in the Philippines. Right? They also have International Accounting Standards Board. Okay? These standards are called International Financial Reporting Standard, IFRS. So, this is the definition of IFRS. And we will use IFRS. This standard is international. It is being used in the Philippines, IFRS. So, we will use this. Okay? So, IFRS. What do you mean by IFRS? International Financial Reporting Standard. Take note of that. International Financial Reporting Standards. Okay? So, there are several standards around the world. But in the Philippines, we are following IFRS standard. We are following this in the Philippines. That's why our textbook is what? IFRS version yung ating ginagamit na book. So that medyo malapit tayo sa Philippine practice, no? We are going to practice in the Philippines, that is good. We're going to practice it in United States or Canada or Australia, New Zealand, that is also good. Okay? In Japan, I don't think so. They are using another standard. Okay? So GAAP and IFRS are different standards. Okay? So here, so in this GAAP, IFRS, different standards yan. No? Okay, let's go to measurement principle. GAAP, okay. So different standards, different way, different manner of measurement. Okay? Measurement principle. GAAP generally uses one of two measurement principle. The historical cost principle or the fair value principle. Okay? GAAP uses historical cost principle, fair value principle. Selection of which principle to follow generally relates to trade-offs between relevance and faithful representation. Okay? Relevance means that financial information is capable of making difference in a decision. That is what we mean by relevance. No? Faithful representation means that the numbers and descriptions match what really existed or happened. They are factual. Okay? Factual itong faithful representation. Okay, so these two, relevance and faithful representation, are two primary qualities that make accounting information useful for decision making. Take note, huh? Take note these two concepts, relevance and faithful representation. I will repeat. Relevance means that financial information is capable of making a difference in a decision. Okay? So, faithful representation means that the numbers and descriptions match what really existed or happened. They are factual. Okay? So, faithful representation meaning documented. So, pagka sinabi mong you spend 10,000 for painting, okay, there is a receipt. There is a receipt that actually have a 10,000 peso purchase of paint and services, for example. So, merong siyang attachment na resibo. That's why importante ang mga resibo when we are talking about accounting. Take note, probably this is your first time that you hear this. Receipt is very important because of accounting process. And what accounting process? Specifically, recording. We need the receipt for recording. So meaning, what we are recording is faithful representation. That is not an opinion. In all of the accounting letters, accounting events, accounting records, there is no opinion included in the accounting equation. There's no opinion. They are all factual. They are faithful representation. And the information is relevant for the users, for the internal and external users. Our focus is for external users because we are financial accounting. Anyway, internal users can also use information coming out from financial accounting. But the focus of managerial accounting is for internal users only. Okay? So, that is the measurement tools that we need. If we are using what? GAAP, relevance and faithful representation. Okay? There are several degrees. So let us GAAP, historical, cost principle, or fair value principle. Historical cost principle. What do you mean by historical cost? Okay. Cost principle dictates that companies record assets at their cost. This is true not only at the time the asset is purchased, but also over time the asset is held. For example, if Best Buy purchases land for $360,000, the company initially reports it in its accounting records at $360,000. Okay? But what does Best Buy do if by the end of the next year, the fair value of the land has increased to $400,000? Under the historical cost principle, it continues to report the land at $360,000. Okay? So that is what we meant by historical cost principle. Take note, huh? Take note. Very important principle. Huh? Historical cost principle. What about fair value principle? Okay? It states that assets and liabilities should be reported at fair value. The price received to sell an asset or settle a liability. How much is that? Eh? Fair value information may be more useful than historical cost for certain types of assets and liabilities. For example, certain investment securities are reported at fair value because market price information is usually readily available for these types of assets. Unlike in what? In the cost of the land. Cost of the land, it's very hard to indicate the value of the land year by year, month by month. They are changing. Look, the cost of the land, the cost of the property, the cost of the building changes month by month, year by year. But the amount is very hard to predict, very hard to make an assumption of. However, in other types of assets uh, like securities, investments, stocks, their price has an specific and readily available amount. We can easily determine that. They are recorded and publicly available. Publicly available. Those information. That's why there are some types of assets that we need to use fair value principle rather than cost principle. Okay, let us continue. In determining which measurement principle to use, companies weigh the actual nature of cost figures versus the relevance of their fair value. In general, most companies choose to use cost principle rather than fair value. Only in situations where assets are actively traded do companies apply their fair value principle. Any question with that? Any question? Do you understand? Okay. Assumptions. Okay. This is the what? Fourth. This is the fourth and last concept, assumptions. In recording this transaction, we need to assume something. Assumptions provide foundation for accounting process. Two main assumptions are monetary as unit assumption and economic entity assumptions. Okay? Monetary unit and economic entity assumption. Monetary unit assumption requires that companies include the accounting records only transaction data that can be expressed in terms of money. Okay? Only those that can be expressed in terms of money. Monetary assumption. Huh? This assumption enables accounting to quantify economic benefit. This is what I was explaining a while ago. Okay? We cannot record opinion. We have to record specific value of money. Okay? Quantity, measurable, that can be measured in terms of money. Okay? The monetary unit assumption is vital to applying the historical cost principle. Okay? This assumption prevents the inclusion of some relevant information in the accounting records. For example, the health of company's owner. Hindi natin may record yan. Health of company's owner, hindi natin may record. The quality of service and the morale of employees. We cannot record that. But those are very important information. Okay? For example, if the employees are not satisfied, they will sabotage the company. And another viral event happened last 3 weeks or 2 weeks ago. One popular fast food chain in the Philippines was in the news because of what? Because of product Chicken Joy, which is supposed to be chicken, but served and found out to be towel. Okay? Towel Joy, not Chicken Joy. Okay? So it is another issue wherein employees are not satisfied with the company, they may sabotage the company. Okay? So I don't know if that viral incident is really the result of employee being not satisfied or internal sabotage of the company, but usually those will happen because of the employees not doing their job in the right frame of mind, because they are not feeling good about their own company. Okay? Okay. Economic entity assumption. So there are two types of assumption, economic entity and monetary unit assumption. What is economic entity assumption? It may be company a government, a school district, a church. Okay, that is that could be uh, used as an economic entity. Okay, economic entity. Entity meaning organization. Okay, entity is an organization, or an individual person is an entity. Government unit is an organization. Company is an organization. School district is an organization. Church is an organization. So this organization or entity is used. Okay, economic entity assumption. The economic entity assumption requires that the activities of the entity be kept separate and distinct from the activities of its owner and all other economic entities. So the recording process separates the personal and the company transaction. Okay. So it is possible to do uh, because companies gain personality after they are approved to be a legal organization by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Okay? So they gain what? Personality. So the personality of the company is different from the personality of individual owners. Okay? They are treated distinctly. Okay? So, magkaiba sila. Magkakaiba sila. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng distinctly. Magkaiba ang treatment sa kanila. Hindi pinagsasama yung mga pera nila. Pinaghihiwalay yung mga pag-compute ng pera nila. Iba yung computation ng pera ng company, iba hindi nakahalo yung pag-compute ng pera ng mga owner. Kanya-kanya owner, may kanya-kanya silang pag-compute ng sarili nilang pera. Yung pera nila hindi yung pera ng company. Yung pera ng company hindi nila yung pera. Okay? So that is what do we mean by this explanation? Okay. Business owned by one person is generally a proprietorship. Okay? There are different types of businesses. So there are at least 3 types of businesses. One owner, we call that as proprietorship. We also have businesses owned by 2 or more persons associated as partners. Okay? So what we call partnership. If the company is owned by 2 or more persons, join together, associate themselves to be partners, they are called partnership. Okay? Usually, only a relatively small money is necessary to start in business as a proprietorship. The owner receives profits, suffer any loss, and is personally liable for all debts of the business. However, like proprietorship, for accounting purposes, the partnership transaction must be kept separate from the personal activities of the partners. So iba yung pagkikip track mo ng transaction ng partnership sa individual. Unlike sa proprietorship, yung pera ng owner, eh yun na rin yung pera ng company. Kasi proprietorship yung company. Okay. Another form of company is corporation. Okay? Corporation is a business organization which is a separate legal entity. Sabi ko nga, na-explain ko na kanina, no? Separate legal entity. Legal na yan after the Securities and Exchange Commission or the SEC approve its bylaws. A corporation has a bylaws. So, pagka in-approve na ng SEC yung bylaws, meron na siyang separate personality. legal entity. What do you mean by legal entity? Entity. The company can be accused, can be can be accused in court. If the company is accused in court, it does not necessarily mean that the owners is accused in court. The company, because it is a corporation. But if the ownership is proprietorship, so if your company is accused in court, the individual owner is also accused in court. Okay? So these are three different types of business ownership: single proprietorship, partnership, and corporation. Okay? Corporation enjoys unlimited life. In the Philippines, unlimited life meaning 50 years. The Philippines, a corporation maximum registration is 50 years. That is called unlimited life and can be renewed. You can renew another 50 years. So that is a life. Okay? Take note, Take note. If I ask you what is the life of a company registration, that is 50 years in the Philippines. Okay? Okay, let's jump over that because that is not a principle. Accounting across organization. Let us jump over this. You have to read all of these chapters, but I am just explaining those concepts and terminologies. General management. What do you mean by general management? Here. Okay, general management. Okay. What do you mean by marketing? What do you mean by finance? Okay. What do you mean by real estate? So these terminologies I know are very common, that there is no confusion. Okay? General management. So pangkaraniwan na management ng company, marketing. Okay? So yung nag-market ng mga products. So their goal is to have a maximum profit, no? And marketing. Finance. Yung mga nag-analyze, nagtitingin ng mga investment opportunities, stocks. Okay? So yan yung pagkaiba finance. Finances, meaning yung pagbibigay ng allotment ng pera, pagbibigay ng budget, pag-isip tungkol sa mga araw-araw na gastos, yun ang finance, no? Ibang-iba yun sa marketing. Ang marketing, ang iniisip nila, paano ko ibenta ito ng maximum ang profit ko. Nakatutok lang ang marketing sa product and selling that product for the most beneficial advantage to the company. Ganun lang yung marketing. So yung finance, hindi ganun. So lahat ng area ng company, tinitingnan ng finance na ma-control yung cash flow, yung assets ng company, ma-control. Advantageous din dapat sa company. Control niya, yung control niya. Okay, so ganyan yung finance. Real estate, is real estate, meaning lands, buildings, yan. Yung mga real estate. Okay? Yan ang mga meaning ng real estate. So, there are other many types of real estate. Okay? Mga pinaka-common is lands, buildings, lots, no? So, okay. Basic accounting equation. So, pag-aralan natin later on. So, na-explain ko na. We already explained all the, okay. So, assets are resources a business owns. So, those add value to the business, to the company. Those are the resources. So, technical term, resources. It's a resource. When we talk of resource, this is the things that, these are the things that you can use for the operation of the company. That is what we mean by resources. Resources are the things that we can use for the operation of the company. Okay? Assets are those resources that the company owns. So it adds positive value to the company. It increases the value of the company. Okay? That is what do you mean by asset. What is liability? So it is the opposite of assets. Liabilities are claims against assets because positive and negative. So negative are those making the company's value lesser. Okay? So those are the liabilities. Right? How about stockholders' equity? Is similar to capital, di ba? Capital. It is equal to total assets minus total liabilities. That is what we mean by stockholders' equity. So what are the terminologies associated with liabilities? Accounts payable, notes payable, salaries and wages payable, sales and real estate taxes payable. Those are payables. They are called liabilities. Okay? Liabilities. Accounts payable, notes payable, salaries and wages payable, sales and real estate taxes payable. Okay? So, those are the terminologies associated with liabilities. How about those terminologies associated with assets? Cash, cash on hand, cash on bank. Yan. Accounts receivable. Those are interest. So those are the uh, terminologies associated with assets. Cash on hand, cash in the bank, interest, accounts receivable. Okay. So please take note of that. Okay. What are the other terminologies? Common stock. Okay. So I will make a video of this additional definition starting from common stock, retained earnings. I will make a video and post it for you to watch. Okay, later on. No. Any question? Any question? Any question? So starting from that, so including here. Okay. Okay, another concept, transaction. There are two types of transaction, external transactions and internal transactions. Internal transactions are those economic events that occur entirely inside the company. Okay? So those are internal transactions without involvement of external people. Okay? So that means internal transaction. Okay? Those involve external people or company or entities, they are called external transactions. Okay? Okay, we will do this later on. Transaction analysis, we will do that later on. And do this like this. This now start of recording. So we are actually under identification right now. We are identifying the account's name and the principles involved, assumptions. So later on, yan, the next to follow is the actual recording of the transaction. So it's like that. We will do it later. Okay, we will do that like that. Okay. Okay, like that. Later on. Okay. Let's go further. Okay. We'll do that. Okay. Any question? Any question? So, uh, we'll end our discussion today. And just continue next meeting. And let us summarize what we did. Okay. Summarize what we have learned. Okay. We know what is accounting. It is involving three activities of identifying, recording, and communicating. What? Economic events and transactions for the benefit of interested users. And who are those users? Internal and external users. We use managerial accounting to present useful information to internal users. And that is the focus of managerial accounting. And for financial accounting, this information can be utilized by both internal and external users. Okay? And we already identified and list down the users of those information, internal and external. And the next major topic, we are able to discuss the building blocks of accounting. It's composed of 4 different principles, ethics and financial reporting. We encountered the SOX law. We encountered the GAAP. We encountered 2 different measurement principles and 2 different assumptions. Okay? And we also able to discuss the definition and explain the different major account names to be used in accounting equation, that is asset, liabilities, and capital, together with their associated account names. Okay? And later on, we will do this and do this in practical terms. So our focus today is this 1, 2, 3. This now, the other two, is focused on the actual. Okay, so let us recall before we really end that you have 4 assignments. You have to answer the 4 and post the answer. Aha, do not post. What do we want? Post your answer as a remark. Yes, as a comment in the comment box of this live live video. I will save this into YouTube so that you can post your answer to the assignment 1, 2, 3, 4, so that you can get what additional attendance, because this is a what because this is just a makeup class, so you will get an additional attendance for answering this assignment 1, 2, 3, 4. Post your answer in this comment box. Okay, so if there are no questions, thank you very much and see you next meeting. Once again, this is Dr. AP, your Samurai Engineer.